Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing video, and this one is specifically for fans of Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull. This is Ian Anderson 8314. This is the 10 LP vinyl set from Madfish Records. So before I go any further, let's have a look inside the box. This is a look at Ian Anderson 8314 box. This is a huge vinyl box set from Madfish Records. I understand there might be a CD version of this in the future, but this is a look at the vinyl set, which includes 10 LPs, including Walk Into Light, Divinities, 12 Dances with God, The Secret Language of Birds, Rupee's Dance, Thick as a Brick 2, HomoErraticus, and Roaming in the Gloaming, which is a live album featuring some stuff you may not be that familiar with. So it's a nice slipcase, very similar to the Wishbone Ash live set, and also Caravan, and also Gentle Giant. So the albums are contained within this slipcase. I'm going to take all of these out. So that's the box that they're kept in. And the one at the very top is Walk Into Light. They're all single sleeves, but they all come in polylined sleeves themselves. So the main credits, there's no inner sleeves to the albums, is in the book, which I'll show you last of all. But the paper stock is really luxurious, very nice shiny card. And the pressings, which I'll talk about more in a moment, are amazing. So this is Thick as a Brick 2. Now there are 2 discs in here because this is 2012. So again, both are on polyline sleeves, absolutely silent pressings. Secret Language of Birds is a 3-sided double album. So there is an etching on one side. See if I can show you that, for those who like to see an etching. Can you just about see that? Yep. So they've not tried to cram it onto one vinyl album, so it's a hybrid. But again, they're not gatefold sleeves, but wonderful reproduction of the artwork. Next in here is the book, but I'll show you that last of all. Divinities, 12 Dances with God is one of my favourite albums from this series, from this set, 1995. Again, polyline sleeve. And it's the first one I played actually from the set, and the vinyl pressing is like playing a CD. Just absolutely, I know that sounds a strange thing to say, but there was just no other sound apart from the music. HomoErraticus, just before we started on the cusp of going back to being called Jethro Tull. And again, absolutely superb pressing. Come to that one last of all, I think. Rupee's Dance. This is again I think this is another 3-sided double album. And it is, there's the etching. But a wonderful pressing, so that's 2 discs to cover that one, which is another fantastic album. And finally, Roaming in the Gloaming, Ian Anderson, is some live tracks, I think unique to this set. Let me know if I've got that wrong, but this is a selection of stuff here from In a Stone Circle from 95, Circular Breathing 2002, The Donkey and the Drum 2007, Secret Language of Birds 2000, Boris Dancing 2000, In the Black Box 95, In the Moneylender's Temple 95, Not Realista 2004, Urology 2004, Habam Nero Real 2000, In the Grip of Stronger Stuff 98, and In the Olive Garden 95. And again, polyline sleeves. So, and the last part of this box to show you is this booklet, which is, it's softback, but it's substantial, and you'll see what I mean now. So there's an introduction from Ian, And then we have just a wonderful essay and a wonderful story with lots of imagery as we go through the story of Jethro Tull. Lots of press ads covering all the classic albums. All the Tull albums are here on the right hand side, you can see, and then we start to talk into the solo albums itself, Walking into Light, and again, as Madfish always do, a full size picture of the album itself and a full story behind it. Lots of contemporary pictures of single sleeves, TV, video appearances, promo shots that never made the final album. I'm into Dancing with God, Divinities, as I said, one of my favourites here, from the mid-90s. And lots of press photos, full in-depth story behind every single album. Absolutely amazing stuff. Okay, this is, I love this. I love the way it's being put together, and to have this to hand. And this is live in Iceland imagery here. Is that when I'm playing one of these albums, this is the kind of booklet I just have on my lap and it's just flicking through it. So when people talk about the vinyl experience of having the artwork, I think this is the kind of thing where you have this and it really brings you closer. So I remember when this came out, so the fact it's all so available, there's so many different versions of HomoErraticus, wasn't there? But this is a great version here. Lots of pictures, live pictures of Ian, then the story about the live tracks that I've just mentioned. And then we have lyrics and credits. So at the back then we have the lyrics to every single track. Obviously, Divinities is a instrumental album, but if there are lyrics, they're there. So if you read, and of course, if you're visually challenged, like I am, it's far easier to read this than it is on the CD. But really well put together. And all the credits for all the albums, as I said, on the actual albums themselves, the credits aren't printed on the back, so they're all in this book. So absolutely superb stuff as we start to come towards the end of it. But again, all the lyrics are there for each album where there are lyrics. And lots of great pictures and credits and stuff. And then Roaming the Gloaming, some nice pictures from that as well. And then the full credits, the interview, etc., design, marketing, blah, blah, blah. Half-speed mastering, because they're all half-speed mastering at Air Studios. So superb stuff. And the picture of some of the Ian's weapons of choice there at the back. So that is Ian Anderson 8314 boxed. So that's a look inside the box, the 8314 box, Ian Anderson 10 LPs, as it says here on the front. Albums on vinyl for the first time, 2024 half-speed remasters, new release of live recordings, and a 96-page book. And very impressive it is too. Now, I just want to put this out straight away. I asked Madfish Records, is it possible there is going to be a CD release of this set, because it obviously, when it came out, this was vinyl only, and obviously it says on the front first time on vinyl, but some of this stuff is out of print or quite hard to find on CD. Their response is watch this space, which I'm going to take as being a positive that we could see a CD version of this set. I think it's really well put together. I don't want to go through every single album because many of you will know about that. You just want to know, what does it sound like? Because this is aimed at Ian Anderson fans. This isn't going to be an entry point for someone who's curious, I wouldn't have thought. You are already a fan of Ian Anderson. You probably already have many of these albums on CD. Perhaps they might have one or two that are missing and you're thinking, is this something I really would like? But obviously you've seen inside the box now, so you know that the booklet is substantial, and obviously Ian Anderson has been involved. Madfish always try and involve the musicians, and I think that really makes a huge difference. Also, and I can say this, I always do, from my first encounter with Madfish when I treated myself the most expensive box set I'd ever bought in my life, which was the Vintage Years by Wishbone Ash, and it had the wow factor, and Madfish have never really put a foot wrong in anything that they do. And you know that how sensitive I am to kind of like bootleg recordings and kind of any label cutting corners, but this is also a 10 out of 10 release for me. It's interesting because Thick as a Brick Part 2, which I originally bought on the media set when I was completely CD really, in HomoErraticus, is that they're Ian Anderson, but if these had been released, if this had been later on, these would have been Jethro Tull releases, wouldn't they? I'm just saying that. But I love the fact that, you know, they haven't got gatefolds, and some of them are obviously double albums in the single sleeve, but they haven't tried to leave things off. You know, some of them are etchings on side 4 because, you know, they haven't tried to compress it or stick it into a single album and think that will be okay. These pressings are superb. The quality of the card on the albums is really luxurious. Every single one comes in a poly line sleeves. The records don't need cleaning. They're silent. They're superb. Walk Into Light is the one I actually didn't have. This came out, and you could say it's a product of its time because of the kind of 80s keyboard sound, but I really, really like it, and it's a fantastic sounding album. And of course, the full story is in the book. The Secret Language of Birds is an absolutely brilliant album as well. This is the double, again, all polyline sleeves, beautiful artwork, wonderful reproductions. Divinity's 12 Dances with God is my favourite. This is the one I've played the most, and this is the one I found hardest to find on CD. But absolutely superb album, and of course it's a classical crossover album as well. Sue loves this, absolutely love this record, and I just love the concept of what it's about and everything. And then we have HomoErraticus on vinyl. Amazing record, and again, Jethro Tull really in many respects. Rupee's Dance, another double, but superb. Absolutely, this one I do have on CD, but I love this album as well. And then Roaming in the Gloaming, the live stuff. This is fantastic, and I think I mentioned it during the unboxing, but this covers from 1995, 2002, 2000, 2004, 1995, 1998, but they're all absolutely fantastic recordings, and again, of course, the polyline sleeve as you saw in the unboxing, but it's really well put together, and it's a great box set. It is for ardent uber Ian Anderson fans, because it's not a cheap set, but you wouldn't be able to buy these albums separately. You'd soon be crossing over that line. So I hope for CD lovers there is a CD set coming further down the line. Maybe there might be some more live stuff on that, who knows. But this is highly recommended. 8314 boxed by Ian Anderson, Jethro Tull. So thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. We have our own merch, we have coffee, which tastes so much better out of a Now Spinning Magazine mug. Become a YouTube member or a patron and you get 15% off all merch, plus you get access to our private groups on WhatsApp and our private Facebook group, so you can chat to like-minded people. And we have a virtual meetup twice a month at our own pub called the Now Spinning Arms. So please join us and support us, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Take care, all of you, and I'll see you all on my next video.